wisdom is profitable to direct, so says the Holy Book. Gain wisdom, gain understanding, and you gain life. On this channel, Wellspring of Wisdom, we'll be getting tips about life, a lot of life lessons to learn here. I am your host, KC Desmond, and on this channel, you're going to be strengthened a lot, strengthened wisdom-wise, to know how to apply the knowledge that you've gathered so far as life is concerned. Remember, how much you can achieve depends on how much you know. This is Wellspring of Wisdom. This, of course, is Kingdom Inheritors Television, and you are on Wellspring of Wisdom. Today, we're going to be talking about attitude. Attitude. You know, every now and then I hear people complain about people's attitude, other people's attitude. You know, he's got a bad attitude. She's got a bad attitude and all that and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, people talk about attitude to work, attitude to relationship, attitude to this and that, attitude to life and all that. You see, it's very easy to talk about other people's attitude. You know, it's very, very easy. However, you also need to understand what attitude actually means, what attitude is, and also try to understand your own attitude, okay? So on this channel, we are going to be educated, okay? Because on this channel, we're going to pick up life lessons, numerous life lessons, and then dig deep and delve deeper into them and look at them critically, knowing how they affect us and also how they're affecting other people. There is this saying that goes, our attitude towards life determines life's attitude towards us. Our attitude towards life determines life's attitude towards us. And of course, Jesus Christ preached the gospel that says, give and it shall be given unto you. And that's what this saying means, that what you sow is what you reap. Okay? But then a lot of people don't even understand what they are sowing or how they are sowing. Also, a lot of people have been or have become victims of other people's wrong seed. So if I am the land and you are the farmer coming in with seeds, I would have to first of all vet the seeds you're coming with. Why? Because different land have different seeds, different crops, different plants or trees that can be cultivated on them. Different piece of land, I mean. All right. So it is the same here when it comes to the issue of attitude. There are several things to know about attitude, and we want to delve deep into it. Our attitude towards life determines life's attitude towards us. Now, this actually reflects our approach to life. All right? How we approach life. Okay? And the perspective you approach life from is actually what will determine what you would make out of life. Solomon, the great teacher and one of the greatest teachers in human history, said it in Proverbs. He said, as he thinketh, so he is. As he thinketh, so he is. Meaning that you are a product of your thoughts. I always tell people the stream of thoughts that you are allowed to run down your mind 10, 15 years ago actually created the circumstances that you are experiencing or encountering or enjoying today. There's no gainsaying about it. All right? The set of thoughts that you allowed to flood your mind 10, 15 years ago, those are the things that have created the circumstances and situations that you are encountering today. And so a lot of people think that the moment they change their reasoning, the moment they change their thought pattern, their lives will change automatically. No, it is not automatic. Okay? Because if you have planted thorns on a very fertile piece of land, and due to the fertility of that soil, the thorns that you planted have grown and produced thistles and thickets, bushes. Now, you realize that, hey, I'm hungry. I'm a farmer. Why should I be hungry when I have a very productive piece of land? And then you go back to the days of planting, because what you're seeing right now in this piece of land is actually not what is edible. So how can I have all of this and yet I'm hungry? That's because none of this is edible. Then you've got to go back to your planting season, to the time you planted, and begin to look into the kind of seeds that you planted. And then when you realize that, oh, I actually planted these things. I planted thorns here, I planted grasses here, I planted tares here, I planted this and this here, and all of these put together have formed these bushes. Now I am hungry, I'm starving. What do I have to do? What do you have to do? It's simple. Go back to your piece of land and begin to uproot all you've planted before now. Don't you get it? Then, the moment you change your reasoning to say, okay, I'm not blaming anybody for this bush and thorns that I have. I'm not blaming anybody for me starving at this time. It's actually the consequential effect of what I planted years ago. Now, I want to utilize this piece of land very well. Then, you pick up your machete, and then you go back to the bush and begin to, first of all, do what? Clear off, uproot all you had planted that have produced maximum discomfort. Then you begin to clear, you begin to uproot them. You have to work so hard. Why? Because you may have planted 100 seeds of grasses, and these grasses must have multiplied into millions of seeds. So you've got a lot of work to do. And then you clear and clear and clear and clear. Okay? You have the money to rent tractors. Of course, you've got to do that. And then you clear off the bushes. Now you have your land back to you. Okay, what should I plant now so that in the next 10 years I will no longer be hungry or starving? Okay, I want to have maize to eat in 10 years' time, so I begin to plant maize and not thorns anymore. I want to have yams to eat in the next 10 years, so I begin to plant yams. No matter how difficult it is for me to get those seedlings, I've got to get them and work assiduously to make sure that I plant real crops. Now listen, it's not enough to have planted these crops, because the grasses that you planted years ago, remember I said, must have produced millions of seeds, and so many of those seeds were left inside the soil when you cleared the bush. You get it? Therefore, while your yams and your maize and your avocado and all that are germinating, the grasses also will germinate. And they will germinate massively because they're in their millions. Don't you get it? Then you've got to go back to make sure you clear them off again, or else they will cause your fruit crops that you have planted to suffocate. And in 10 years' time, you will have nothing to eat. Therefore, you have to go back and clear. You go back and clear. Why? Now, one thing that you must know is that for every manure that you apply on this soil, not only your food crops will enjoy them, all right? The grasses also will take a great chunk of the manure, okay? However, these grasses also can be very, very useful if you know how to turn them into compost. So if you know how to turn these grasses into compost, these green leaves into compost, they will become manure to the food crops that you've planted. And I can assure you, with this formula, in 10 years' time, you would have a lot to eat, a lot to spare, a lot to sell, a lot to give to others who are in need or in despair. Therefore, this is how attitude is. Because over time, you read books that tell you, change your mind and change your life. Change your attitude and change your life. Hey, listen, it is not magical. It is not automatic. No, it is a process. It takes a process for your mind to be reformed. Permit me, this is not a gospel teaching platform, but permit me to quote from the Holy Book of the Bible. Romans chapter 12, verse 2, it says, be not conformed to this world. It said, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Meaning that when your mind is renewed, you will experience transformation in your life. Now, you are poor today. You hate poverty. The fact that you hate poverty does not mean that you cannot be poor. You can hate poverty and still be graciously poor. Don't you get it? You can hate poverty and still live with poverty all your life. You can be uneducated and remain an illiterate. Whatever you're experiencing at a point in your time, be it depression, be it sickness. Okay, I'll give you an example. I happen to know this man in his average age, in his 50s, early 50s. He is very big. When I mean big, you know what I mean, actually. Big. He is very big. I'm trying not to use the word obese. And he has a very large tummy. He was my neighbor. And on a particular day, I was seated at the balcony, and I saw him run into the compound to his flat. About 30 minutes later, he came out and we greeted, and he walked away. In less than 40 minutes, I saw him run back, run into the compound, straight to his flat. In another something that looked like 15 minutes, I saw him walking out. In less than an hour again, I saw him, come on. It got to a time I couldn't bear it. Even though I was studying, but I couldn't bear it. I had to ask, hello, sir. I hope all is well. Because this is the seventh or eighth time you have run into this compound. Is there any problem? His response will amuse you. But for me, it's actually amazing and shocking. What was his response? You know, is this tummy, oh, this tummy is just disturbing me. I said, what is it about your tummy? Let me know so that we can find solution to it. Anytime I take a sugary thing, I just poo incessantly. I'm like, wow. So since you already know what the problem is, why don't you steer clear out of it? And he's like, it's my wife, or it's actually my wife. She knows that I cannot do without Coke, and she knows that I love Coke so much, and she would buy Coke and be drinking in my presence. And this morning she just bought Coke and was drinking in my presence, and I was tempted to just take a sip or two from her bottle, and that's what put me into this trouble. I mean, can you imagine this? For a man who is of that stature, of that size, who knows that each time he took sugary things, he would always end up, stooling. Yet, he could not discipline himself to say, no, I ain't going to take that. That's attitude. Now, a lot of people go to church crying to God for solution to their problems. But in the real sense, the solution is right there in their hands. For some of them, the solution is on their palms. For some of them, the solution is in their houses. For some of them, the solution is right there with them. So, ladies and gentlemen, believe you me, changing your mindset doesn't automatically change your life. It takes a process. It takes a process of hard work. Just like the example of the farmer that I gave, who planted thorns and grasses and thistles instead of food crops, despite having a very fertile piece of land. Now, when the land produces, because it is give, and it shall be given back unto you. So he gave thorns and thistles and grasses and tares to that fertile soil. And so the fertile soil is going to give it back to him, in quantum fold. Now he has to assiduously, deliberately, committedly, consistently, persistently go back and clear off those bushes, uproot those grasses, and then replant the food crop seedlings and make sure he clears off every grass that tries to rear its ugly head until the food crops grow and produce, and then he'll have plenty to eat, plenty to sell, plenty to stock up, plenty to give his friends and neighbors. So for a person who has had a wrong attitude about life over the years, over time, and his attitude and the set of thoughts that has flowed through his mind over the years, have ended up creating an ugly circumstance, an ugly situation for him at this present time, shouldn't just expect to change and then experience change in his life automatically. No. The same way it took time for those circumstances to form, That is the same way still going to take some time. Maybe not as long as it should have taken. It's going to take some time for him to committedly change his mindset, change this set of thoughts that he allows to flow through his mind, and then it's a battle. Because the farmer will have to battle with the grasses. The grasses will keep germinating, and the farmer will keep clearing them up. Don't you get it? The more he clears them off, the better his crops grow, and the healthier his crops become. Therefore, these previous attitudes will keep haunting you, would keep haunting this person. The more you want to change, the more these past attitude or sets of thoughts or paradigm keep haunting you or keep haunting that person. But now that is where persistence comes in. All right. I was teaching in a session and I defined commitment as persistence in consistent diligence. Persistence in consistent diligence. Don't you get it? So, the good teacher, Solomon, he said in Proverbs, guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Meaning that those things you allow into your life, those are the things that will order your footsteps to life. And the direction that your footsteps go will determine what life will give back to you. So, for you to realize that, okay, I have gone the wrong direction, because that's actually the first thing. You cannot change your attitude when you have not realized that you have the wrong attitude. How can you tell someone to change his attitude? A person who has not realized that his attitude is the reason why he's facing what he's facing. We have to be practical in the issues of attitude and change of mind. We have to be practical and sincere with everything that we do or say. For this person who has allowed his attitude and mindset to order his steps towards the wrong direction and is gone a bit far into life, but on the wrong direction. The first thing is that he has to realize, just like the prodigal son in the parable of Jesus, he realized that he had taken the wrong step. He realized he had taken the wrong direction. So the first thing that he had to do was to tell himself the truth. I messed up. But in this generation, all we have is people blaming people. The first thing is for you to realize that you took the wrong step. You took the wrong direction. Now, don't think that, remember, let's say that this is actually where you started and you were supposed to go right, but you went left. And you've gone left for about 15 to 20 years. Okay? And now you are experiencing things that you're not supposed to experience because you have no business going that direction. Now, you want your life to change, isn't it? The first thing is for you to realize that where you are, you're not supposed to be there. That's one. Two, where you are was nobody's fault. It was your fault because you took the wrong steps. Are you there? You followed the wrong track. You went the wrong direction. Third is that you have to be sincere to yourself that what I've got to do, just like the prodigal son said, I will go back to my starting point. So you have to walk back. That is the process of clearing the bushes. No matter how much you desire change Change can never come if you do not assiduously and committedly, persistently clear off the effects of the past. Now, you have to walk back and be ready to learn, be ready to start afresh. It takes some time for you to walk back. Don't you get it? To where you began. Remember, all of these things I'm talking about happen on your mind. It will take a lot of time for you to, reject those thoughts, because right now they're just flowing down like a hose. All right, a hose that is connected to an ocean, and the water just keeps rushing. Don't you get it? And now you realize that, ooh, it's my fault, right? So the first thing you do is not to be there crying, wailing, and blaming who. No. The first thing you've got to do, some would say, block it. You can't block it because the force of the water will still force it open. The first thing you do is to disconnect it from where the water is flowing in. That's the first thing. Disconnect it. Now, when you disconnect it, the water doesn't stop because you've disconnected it. Why? Because you have a lot of water still in the hose, in the pipe. And they will all flow down on you until they completely flow down. Don't you get it? Because it is no longer connected, after a while, it begins to reduce until it is no longer flowing. So this thing is systematic. Attitude change is systematic. Mindset change is systematic. All right? Because I've come across a lot of people who have wailed and cried to me. I've tried as much as possible to change. I've done everything I could to change. I've read this book, I've read that book, but it's not working. And I always tell them, it is because you read those books and thought that by mere reading the book, your life will change. Or by mere reading the book, your mindset will change or your reasoning will change. No. You've got to, first of all, reject the previous set of thoughts. And you are going to fight it. It's a fight. For example, let's say a drug addict. I have rescued a lot of drug addicted individuals, young boys, young girls, a whole lot of them. And I know the pain involved in rescuing people from addictions. All right? I have suffered a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort, a lot of unfortunate situations. Okay? Why? Because I have to make room for their misbehavior. Because it's going to take a lot of time for them to walk away from that addiction. It's not an automatic thing. All right? You see somebody who is a chain smoker and this person is dying. Yet, this person will tell you that, you know what? This heroin that he's smoking is actually the reason why he's alive. Don't you get it? That's the mindset. So you do not just take, the Indian hemp from the person and throw it away, thinking that it's going to solve the problem. Or just preach to the person and just think that it's going to solve the problem. And you're like, I've preached, why is it not changing? No, it's a process. You've got to walk the person through the process. You've got to accompany the person on that journey. Don't you get it? Now, back to the issue of attitude. So, for you who want to change your life, because you've realized that, you're not enjoying life. And one or two things are actually as a result of the previous attitude and mindset that you've had. Now you want to change it. I'm here to walk you through the process. Okay, so first, understand that it's not an automatic thing, it is not magical, it takes a process. Then, when you walk back to where you began, then you make a U turn, you make the right choice to follow the step you are supposed to follow. At this time, you're going to find it very difficult. Why? Because what you knew before will always want to contradict what you are knowing now. Oftentimes you hear people say, we learn to unlearn and relearn. It's easier said than done. It is not as easy as it is said. And this is very important for everyone. If you're enjoying this series, be sure to share it with your friends and loved ones and well-wishers, and make sure you like the video and subscribe to this channel. And after subscribing, please do not forget to hit the notification bell so that you will get more of these life-transforming videos each time we post them on this channel. Now, let's go on by talking about types of attitude. There are different types of attitude. All right? Each time we talk about attitude, we talk about attitude as though it is a stereotype kind of thing. All right? But there are different kinds of attitude, and that is what I will be sharing with us on this video and in subsequent videos. Okay, we're going to actually delve deeply into this issue of attitude to make sure that it becomes profitable for every viewer. And let me not forget to invite you into the discourse, actually. Make sure you go straight down to the comment section and send me messages, all right? Messages on how to deal with different kinds of different types of attitude, different people with different types of attitude, what you are struggling with. I am here for you, all right? I'm going to be sharing some of my personal experiences, and of course, I'm sure that, at one time or the other, I will be bringing up other people who would come up here to share their personal experiences with you. So you also, this is actually being factual and being real. Maybe you should call it Being Real channel. All right, so do not hold back. Send me messages. I want to know what you feel about what I'm doing. I want to know the area you want me to improve upon. I want to also know how it is affecting your life. I want to know your experiences, those things you want me to talk about. Please do not hesitate to send them to me on the comment section below. The first type of attitude I'm going to talk about is what I call positive attitude. Positive attitude. Positive attitude is characterized by optimism, faith, hope, enthusiasm, and confidence. People with positive attitude, they're always looking at the bright side of life. Okay, for everything that happens, they just want to, look at it from the positive aspect. They're always optimistic in their moves. They're always optimistic in their plans. All right. I am a person that has a positive attitude towards life. Okay. But then, hey, don't overrate me, because we're actually going to get to certain aspects of positivity, and then you realize that it's not just too good to be positive all the time. Yes, I can tell you that. I can tell you that from my personal experience. All right. So when we look at positivity, attitude of positivity, we see people who are goal getters. We see people who are, achievers. We see people who have this I can do spirit. All right. They are people who do not actually easily back down despite the challenges that they face. The effects of positive attitude cannot be overemphasized. All right. It fosters happiness, productivity, success. All right. People with positive attitude, um, often make better relationships. They are resilient to life. They are resilient, in their approach to life. Okay, and these kind of people are actually most times very sweet to be with. All right, because they keep you going. They keep pushing you, and they keep telling you, "Hey, you can do it. Don't back down. You can do it." I mean, we all need these kind of people, don't we? Of course, you need them too, because there's always a time that you just look at things and you're like, "Hey, how I just wish I have a shoulder to cry on. I mean, a person to lean on. How I wish I have someone to just pat me behind and say, 'Hey, come on, get up, you can do it.'" Yes, of course. People with positive attitude, they are very good encouragers. I know this because I am one of them. Believing that challenges can be overcome, believing that nothing can, knock you down, viewing mistakes as learning opportunities, and that's how I see it. For example, well, I would expect you to actually criticize me in what I'm doing right now, and I wouldn't actually want you to just tell me everything is good. Wow, no, I love criticism. I love critics, okay, because all my life I've grown through criticism. All right, because when you criticize me, I look at what you're saying with 100% view of positivity, and then I actually try to pick up lessons from what you're saying. I go back, do my homework, and I'm better. Don't you get it? That is how you know a person with a positive attitude. But of course, just like we know that everything that has advantage has disadvantage. All right, there are two sides of a coin. Okay, and when we look at things from one perspective, we may just be walking away from very good opportunities of learning life lessons that can actually save us in times of danger. Okay, and that's why I would want to look at these sets of attitude from both advantageous and disadvantageous perspectives. So let's look at advantages of having a positive attitude. One, improved mental health. And this is psychologically proven, this is scientifically proven, this is medically proven. All right, that when you have positive mindset, positive thinking, positive reasoning, positive attitude towards life, towards occurrences, towards issues, towards disappointments, and all that, it keeps your adrenaline down. All right, it helps you to be in charge of your mental state. Okay, I say this boldly and authoritatively, even though I'm not a medical doctor, but I have actually seen, I have observed, okay, I know a lot of people who suffered insanity. And when I began to look at the build up to that state of insanity, it actually began with aggressiveness. It began with hostility. It began with haughty spirit. Don't you get it? It began with lack of peace of mind. It began with hatred and enmity. You get it? Hostility. Always aggressive. Always attacking. Always attacking attack it. For everything they want to attack. For everything they want to attack. For everything, every issue, they want to be on the attacking side. You will lose peace. And when this happens, it will begin to affect you health-wise. It will begin to affect you mentally. All right? The medical profession have told us that it takes a whole lot more muscles to frown and fewer muscles to smile. Don't you get it? Because for you to frown, a lot of muscles will have to contract in agreement before that frown can be achieved. But when you smile, you relax your muscles. When you smile, that's why the Holy Book of the Bible says that a merry heart doeth good like medicine. A merry heart doeth good like medicine. Meaning that happiness is actually a form of medicine. All right? So, one major advantage of positive attitude to life is that it gives you improved mental health. Why is it that today we have a lot of young people who are so forgetful? A lot of young people. I am in the ministry of the youth and in the humanitarian line of rescuing young people from addiction, from the street and all that. So I can say this authoritatively because I relate with them every day. Different people. So we have a whole lot of young people who are very, very forgetful. I'm not even talking about those who are into drugs or into vices. No. Very forgetful. And why? When you look at them critically, you see that their number one challenge is that they lack positivity. No positive thoughts. They lack positivity in their reasoning. They lack the it is possible kind of reasoning. The I can do spirit is not there. They're just there. All right? And because of that, these people become protective. So even when you want to render them help, the first thing they want to look at is I hope he's not going to mock me after rendering this help. That's number one. And number two, when they experience mockery, they become aggressive to it. Don't you get it? On the other side, I'm not talking about, those who are engaged in porn and all that and blah, blah, blah. That's a different thing entirely. I told you that this is broad, so we're going to take it gradually in different perspectives. All right? So, a lot of young people in this generation are very forgetful. Very forgetful. As an educationist, I have grouped learners in class into 4. And each time I go out to train teachers in workshops, I always tell them this, and this has helped all over. 1, there are a set of children who understand easily, but they forget easily. There are a set of children who find it difficult to understand, but the moment they understand, it sticks. They do not forget easily. And then we have another set of children, a set of people who find it very hard, very difficult to understand, to comprehend. And even when they manage to comprehend, in a little while, they forget. And then we have some people who are classified as smart, brilliant. They understand easily, and the moment they catch it, it sticks oftentimes. Now, when you look at all of this, Studies have shown that majority of these children, majority of these people actually are suffering one negative thought or experience or the other. So your attitude actually affects your mental health. It affects your brilliance. It affects your level of smartness. So when you have positive attitude towards life, it helps to heal you internally. It helps to heal you mentally. It helps to heal you even psychologically. It helps to reduce depression. Number two is that it increases resilience. Positive attitude increases resilience. It increases your ability to endure. I once heard a billionaire businessman in an interview say, if my company burns down, he said, as long as I'm able to rescue myself and rescue my team, everything else can go. Why? Because I built it before, I will build it again. And that taught me a whole lot. Positivity, resilience. Why do people commit suicide when they lose money? Why do people commit suicide when they lose relationships? Why do people commit suicide when they even lose loved ones? Of course, I've seen that happen. The reason is because they are not resilient. Positive attitude gives you resilience and it gives you the ability to bounce back from failure. Okay? It gives you the ability to stand strong. Like I said, that commitment, I defined it to my students in a workshop to be persistence in consistent diligence. Persistence in consistent diligence. Now, you've got to be persistent and resilient because it is hard. It is hard to bounce back because the reality of what you have lost is there, facing you, gazing at you. You wake up to that reality every morning. Okay, if it has to do with debt or whatever, then your creditors are always on you. Don't you get it? If it has to do with losing a relationship, you wake up every morning just to, still realize that you're just still all alone emotionally. Don't you get it? So these facts are there. But despite these facts, you're able to stand strong and not allow negative thoughts to take over your mind. You do not allow these things to knock you off track because you know that, okay, though I've lost this, but I'm sure something better, something greater awaits me. That is resilience. All right. So resilience helps you view setback as temporary. And then with it, you can easily find ways around it. And within a time, you're out of it. This is what positive mindset will do for you. It helps you stand strong. And it also helps you identify people who you can actually build with and even people you should get rid of. Of course, it does. The third one is better relationships. Everyone wants a partner, a friend, a wife, a husband, a co-worker, a boss, an employee, all right, who is positive in reasoning. I mean, what is the essence of employing you in a company when you do not think that the company can actually grow to become a conglomerate? Why? In this generation, we have a lot of people who work to survive. And I find it difficult to believe that people actually do that. But, as a facilitator, these are things I see every now and then. Almost, let me not exaggerate here, but almost 40% of employees that I have met, I have met them in their thousands. Almost 40 or about 40% of them are working for survival. This is because I'm just trying to be careful not to exaggerate. It's actually far more than that. A lot of people are working in organizations that, they're not passionate about. You can imagine somebody working in a company that he doesn't believe in what they do. He doesn't believe in the vision or the mission of that organization. He doesn't believe in what they stand to achieve. Okay, but just because after all, I need money and this money now, there are no jobs anywhere. I just have to make do with this and all that and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes to work murmuring. He goes to work, without enthusiasm, without courage. He's just working for the money. He's just working for survival. So these are the set of people that if when you employ them, you're in trouble. Okay, because they actually do not believe in what you're doing. They do not even believe in themselves. It's actually very, very bad, very disadvantageous to employ these kind of people who do not believe in themselves. They do not believe that they can actually achieve much for themselves. And for your company to grow, then your workforce must be people who believe in themselves, people who know that, okay, in working here, they have stake. In working here, they have something that they want to achieve for themselves. All right? And for them to be able to achieve that, the company has to grow. While the company grows, they grow too, and consequently achieve their dreams. But when you have people who do not have positive attitude, then I can show you you're in trouble. Is it in a marriage relationship? Come on, let's not even talk about that. For you to know more about marriage relationships and all that, you can also visit my other channel. I have another channel called Love Oracle. That's where we actually talk about relationships between man and woman and fiancés, and there we actually make it 100%, like 100. You know what I mean? Okay, and marriage parliament and all that. So we have those other channels. So if you want to find out more about this, you can actually check me out on those channels. Number 4, advantages of positive mindset, positive attitude is greater motivation and productivity. When you are positive in your reasoning, you are more productive. Listen, I've seen people who inherited tons of cash from their parents, and 15 years later, they're poor. And unfortunately, I want to say that in this generation, we have a lot of young people, young poor people with so much cash. They are poor, but they have so much cash. And of course, you know that wealth is not measured in cash. So we have a lot of people who have so much money, all right, but they're poor. They're poor in reasoning. They're poor in their mindset. They're poor in their understanding. They're poor in their approach to life. They're poor in their approach to work. Don't you get it? So people with positive attitude are more productive. They're more resilient. They are more motivated. If you're lucky to have them in your organization, then I can assure you that you are up for the moon. All right. And if you have a positive person, a positive partner in a relationship, that relationship is, good to go. Positive attitude actually leads to higher productivity. And of course, we know what that means. Okay, number five, enhanced problem solving. Positive thinkers are, more likely to approach problems, positively. They approach problems creatively. They are determined to solving problems. Okay, so when you have a positive person, if you are a person with a positive attitude, you don't allow problems to degenerate into issues that will hamper the good of the friendship, the good of the relationship, the good of the organization, the good of the marriage, or what have you. Okay, so positive mindset, helps you to handle problems positively in such a way that problems are managed. Okay, you would help people around you. Yeah, the problem might affect you. Okay, but because you are positive about it, people around you will be encouraged because you would be that anchor that they will need to also pull themselves up, and in no time every member of the team is actually on their feet. Number six, improved physical health. Improved physical health. Positive mindset helps you to stay healthy a whole lot. I was speaking to a couple somewhere, they had fracas, they had issues, and the issue came to me, and I had to counsel them for some sessions. And I looked at the man. He looked so haggard. He looked so unhealthy. And I told him, I said, looking at you, I am very, very sure that you eat very well because, of course, he's doing well, relatively well. You should know what I mean in business as an artisan. And I told him, I said, look at you. You are eating well, definitely, despite this harsh economy. But look at how you look. Can you see yourself? When last did you look into the mirror to see how you actually look? You look so haggard. You look so unkempt. You look so lean. So looking straight into your eyes, I could see frustration. I could see depression. You're sick. Even bodily, you're sick. You're not well. You're not okay. Why? Because you are negative. You're not positive about this relationship. You're not positive about this marriage. You're not positive about your wife. Do you get it? Because it's very, very easy for people to, heap up blames on the other. But when you look at yourself and try to understand things, from the positive perspective, then you would actually realize that most of the things you complain about, like over 50% of it, it's actually your fault. But when you have a positive mindset and you're able to look at challenges positively and you're determined to solving that challenge, then it will tell on your physical well-being. It will tell on your physical health. So positive attitude improves your physical health. Number seven is that it attracts opportunities. People tend to love to relate with folks that are positive in thinking, positive in reasoning. Just like I said earlier on, you cannot employ a person who does not believe in your vision. You cannot employ a person whose attitude to work is different from your attitude to work, and you make him the executive director of your firm. That can never happen. A lot of people are very intelligent. I've met a lot of young people who are intelligent but are jobless. And for example, within my society in Nigeria, I always tell people, you can tell me there are no jobs because in Nigeria, there are numerous humongous opportunities because Nigeria is a developing society. And in developing societies, you have huge opportunities. But unfortunately, you are not positive. You look at Nigeria with every sense of ambiguity, with bigotry. You look at Nigeria with, frustration and disappointment. All right, you always want to blame the president, blame the governor, blame the ministers, blame the leaders, but you never blame yourself. You're very intelligent. Why should an educated, intelligent young man be waiting for a job that never exists? Why not create a job? If you create a job and you follow it with positive mindset, I can assure you that within a short time, that job you've created will turn a business. And the moment it turns a business, you will become an employer of labor, thereby contributing to the reduction of unemployment in our country. Did you get it? These things are simple. If people have positive mindset towards themselves, a person that has positive mindset will never play blame game. Why? Because for everything that happens, he wants to look at it from how he or she can make things better. So, having positive attitude to life attracts opportunities to you. It attracts people to you. All right? And someone would say, I'm talking laws of attraction. Of course, that's what it is. Like I quoted, give, it shall be given unto you. And that's what it is. What you give life is what life is going to give back to you. You cannot be negative and expect people to trust your ability. It's not possible. So be positive. Number 8, advantages of positive attitude is increased confidence. When you are positive in your attitude, in your thinking, in your reasoning, you will be confident in yourself. You will be confident in your ability. And when you are confident in your ability, people will be confident in you too. I am an example. I've told you this is actually my personality. I've seen a lot of people, pessimistic people, become optimists by virtue of having been with me, some for some months, some for years. Don't you get it? Because when I look at you, I see something in you that is useful, which you don't even see. And then I do everything possible to make sure that I help you see it. And the moment you're able to capture it, you will change your mind, you will change your reasoning, you change your view of that thing from negative to positive, and then we begin to pursue a goal. So, positive thinking, positive attitude builds up confidence in you. And when you build up confidence in you, then people can trust your ability. If you do not trust your ability to do stuff, how would others trust your ability to do stuff? Everybody is waiting for who to understand him or her. The question is, who are you understanding? Who are you ready to understand? Who are you willing to understand? You're waiting for someone, for people to, help you stand right. Then are you aware that there are millions of people waiting for you also to help them stand? This is what positive attitude to life helps you do. It helps you achieve this height in life where people believe in you, where people believe in your attitude, where people believe in your counsel, where people believe in your wisdom. If you're still with me, it truly means that this series is making a whole lot of impact in you. So please, I beg of you, like this video, share it to others so that they too can be strengthened just like you are being strengthened. And do not forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that each time I post life transforming videos, you will be the first to be notified. Okay? And make sure that you go to the comment section and tell me what you think about what I'm doing, how I can improve it, and also share your experience as regards to what I am discussing with you. And the one you want me to talk about live, please just do not forget to indicate because I will gladly do so. Let's move ahead. Number 9, better leadership. Positive attitude leads to better leadership. Just like I already said, people want to believe in the abilities of a confident person. And when you're confident, then people can trust in your guidance. You cannot be a fearful person. You cannot be an apprehensive person and expect people to trust your counsel. Because whatever counsel you give is going to be based on fear and how you feel. You too cannot trust a person who is full of fears and who is full of apprehension. Every one of us is looking for that person who is confident, that leader who has that I can do spirit, that leader, that boss, that employer who can say, you know what, even though you don't think you have this in you, but look at what I see in you, and I believe so much in your ability. Are we not? Are you not? I am. You are, I'm sure. We're all looking for that leader, that president, that governor, that minister, that politician, that employer, that boss, that father, that mother, that school teacher, that school administrator, that guardian, that elder in church, that deaconess, that elder brother or elder sister who would say, come on, you're better than this. Why are you scared? You can actually achieve this. You can actually pull through. You can actually, come on. I am always there. I'm here. Whenever you run into temptations, run into issues, whenever you're scared, just come. I can assure you there is nothing to fear. There is nothing to be scared about. We're all looking for people like that. So if you are someone of a positive attitude, people will flock around you. And then it will make you a leader. Not just a leader, a better leader. Why? Because people will bring their problems to you. And when you attend to their problems, listen, most of the people that I have attended to, majority of them in their thousands, majority of them, the major problem they had was actually psychological, mindset problem. For example, can you imagine a young girl, a Nigerian young girl who finished secondary school but couldn't read? She finished secondary school but couldn't read. And when I got involved with her, when she came to me, the first thing I observed was that she was full of fears. And because of that, she became timid because she couldn't read, she couldn't speak, she couldn't write. So she became timid. She went into her shell. She became fearful. She lost confidence in everything. And because of that, life threw her, into every pit or dungeon that was available. But now, as I speak to you, she can read. And her confidence has built up, a great deal. So this I achieved in less than a year, let's say within a year. So how could a young girl who started school from nursery 1, nursery 2, primary 1 to 5, GSS 1 to 3, SS 1 to 3, not be able to read. She couldn't even write her name. Listen, she couldn't even write and. She couldn't even write it. IT, it. She couldn't even write it. She couldn't read it. She couldn't pronounce it. Don't you get it? The problem is because she has never met a positive person. Simple. All the people that have taught her have never been positive towards her. Don't you get it? So when you are a positive person, a positive thinker, the first thing is that when you see people, you will see the bright side of them. That's the first thing you will look at for. That's what I do. I look out for the bright side of people. When people come to me with problems and issues and all that, I don't listen to their voices. I listen to their hearts. And so I ask them questions based on what I am connecting with in their hearts. And eventually, within 6 months, within 1 year, transformation is already begun. So this is what positive mindset, positive reasoning, positive attitude, this is what it does. It makes you a better leader. And people will flock around you because you will foster productivity within the work environment or within the relationship. Number 10, higher satisfaction and fulfillment. Of course, when you are productive, you will be satisfied. And when you are satisfied, you will be fulfilled. Because what we all yearn for is satisfaction. The moment you are satisfied, you will be fulfilled. But for people who lack positive attitude, it's always actually very difficult for them to find fulfillment. It's always difficult for them to find satisfaction. So many of them have so much. So many of them, I've met a lot of wealthy people. You know, they have lands, they have buildings, they have companies, all right? But they're never happy. Never. Always pessimistic and suspicious. These are people who lack positive mindset. So for people who think that changing your mind, changing your reasoning to positivity is all about increasing, your payroll, the digits in your account and all that. No, it's not just about that. Because there are a lot of people in this world and even in your environment who have so much money. They have wealth, but they're not happy. They are not successful. They are not satisfied. They are not fulfilled. And when you look at it, you'll find out that majority of them do not have positive mindset to life. Satisfaction is not just about money. It goes far beyond that. All right. I'm sure that you have been imparted. I'm sure that you have gained one or two. We would continue with this series. We'll continue with disadvantages of a positive attitude, because I told you from the beginning that anything that has advantages also have disadvantages. And we will continue with the disadvantages of having a positive attitude. It's just the flip side of it. Okay. And if this video means anything to you, make sure you like it and share it to your loved ones, your friends, and your well-wishers. Make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so that when I will post the next video, you will be notified accordingly.